try something different tonight and tell you guys a story about what I've learned since moving to Chicago. Yeah! I always knew living in a big city would be scary, but I never understood what that meant until I moved to Chicago last September. Every night I go to sleep afraid that tonight is the night the Pigeon King finally breaks into my room and kills me. When I moved into my apartment, I had a window air conditioner in my window, but the unit was too small for how wide my window was, so I just filled in the gaps with cardboard. It looked weird, but it worked fine, except that the only thing protecting me from the outside world was 2 pieces of cardboard that were masking taped onto the window, sort of. My first night here, I realized that my windowsill is the hotspot for pigeon activity. Pigeons come and hang outside my window at all hours. It was creepy, but never felt threatening. Instead, it felt like I was hanging out outside a hip pigeon nightclub where all the socializing pigeons were coming to hang out, and I felt honored that they had chosen my windowsill. But suddenly, everything changed. I was sitting in my room, minding my own business, when a crazy fright broke out outside my window. It also could have been crazy intense pigeon sex, but I'm going to say it was a fight for the purpose of my story. There was a large kerfuffle, and the happy partying cooing stopped and was replaced by the most aggressive pigeon noises I've ever heard. I don't know if you guys have heard pigeons, but most of them are just like, this pigeon is like, all the time. This new pigeon, who I will be calling the Pigeon King from now on, chased all the others away one at a time and sat atop his throne the very first time. This is when I started to feel afraid. Well, I am still, 7 months later, not 100% sure what is going on with this pigeon. I have a theory. Every night for a couple of months, right as I was about to fall asleep, the Pigeon King would return. He would remind me that he was sitting there, waiting until I was least expecting him. He would wish me a good night and start talking to his minions, reminding him that he's in charge and they need to do what he says. For a while, at around 2 in the morning, the Pigeon King would start yelling loudly. Remember, like, waking me up to remind me that he was in control of the situation. He also began knocking on the cardboard pieces on the side of my air conditioner. I believe that was him working on wearing it down so that he could bust in like, I told you I was coming! You should be expecting me! Bow down to the Pigeon King! Time to die! Every time I heard this knocking sound, I imagined that I was going to roll over and find a hole where the cardboard was, and in its place, these giant, glowing pigeon eyes. I watched, or more heard, I couldn't actually see anything, him chase away the other pigeons to get a hold on my windowsill. And so I'm left to believe that his eventual goal is domination of the entire apartment building. And he's going to use my windowsill as the access point. If he kills me, it will send a message to my roommates. Get out, or this will happen to you. And I think they'd probably choose to leave rather than getting pecked to death by a giant flying rat. A few days after I started telling people about the Pigeon King, my friend Jessica spent the night, and as we were gearing up, I thought, perfect, she'll finally hear him, and then I won't be alone and crazy sounding, and someone will understand my fear. I'm going to leave the window air conditioner in the window, even though it's cold out, because it will help me hear the terrible death coos. And then the Pigeon King promptly disappeared. For 2 days. Radio silence. Jessica spent the night, and nothing happened. While this may have been a completely uneventful night for her, it proved something to me. The Pigeon King was onto me. He knew that I knew about him. This got me thinking, and I realized that in the week leading up to this moment, I had run across a lot of dead pigeons. First, there was one waiting for me as I walked down the stairs from the train on my way to work. Then, the very next day, there was a dead headless pigeon on the sidewalk outside my apartment. Finally, there was a day when I got to work and to find a pigeon squashed on the street in front of this very bookstore. I had a sudden epiphany. The Pigeon King wanted to warn me. He wanted to show me my fate and let me know what happened to these pigeons and by extension other living beings that get in his way. My friends tried to calm me down and convince me that everything would be all right. My friend Jessica told me, when I tell your story on This American Life, I'll be sure to mention that they tried to protect you from the Pigeon King. We knew they were the good ones. And my friend Abby responded, we should find a way to aid the pigeon rebellion. This made me feel a little better until I realized that the fate of those 3 pigeons could be the fate of my friends. No one is safe from the Pigeon King. Okay, so now I'm freaking out. And then I get a text from my brother saying, I just realized that I started to write a play some years back about a monarchical giant pigeon society that abducts people and make them do their bidding. I hope that doesn't happen to you. Wait, what? Since when does my brother tell the future? later, Jessica spent the night again. And this time, she heard the terrible staring noises. The air conditioner was no longer in the window, but it turns out the Pigeon King is so aggressively loud that you could hear him just as clearly through glass. And since I removed the cardboard, which was the easy way into the room, he had taken to throwing himself against the window, making this frighteningly huge crashing noise. As Jessica experienced it all. The next morning, I interviewed her about her experiences, and she made the following statement. We went to bed at like 3 a.m., maybe more like 3:30 a.m., and he was outside the window, flapping his way outside the window, like repeatedly against the window. It felt like he would hit the window and then go down the windowsill and then come back, squawking very loudly. I'm not sure I know exactly what a pigeon usually sounds like, but it sounded aggressive. It woke me up. And she let me know that she feared for her life. So take that, world! I'm not crazy. Please know about this. My friend Sarah told me that I should make a radio piece about my encounters with the pigeons. I tried to record his sounds for a while, but every time I would try, he would either get really quiet or my recordings would come back sounding like static. So either he can see through blinds or he has control over electronic devices. And those are the only possibilities of what's happening. When winter came, Mr. Pigeon King disappeared. Apparently monarchical pigeons should not have to experience cold weather, so I had a couple months of peace. But I am sad to say that he has returned from his vacation and has picked up right where he left off. He is louder than ever, as if he's making up for lost time. The other day I opened my blinds to see if it was raining, and I made eye contact with two pigeons. We locked eyes, and I knew that they'd been sent by the Pigeon King to keep watch over me. So I guess this is all to say that if you hear that I've died due to a pigeon attack, we all know who's to blame. And if this does happen, I think it would make a really great This American Life story. Something like The Pigeon Whisperer, how one girl predicted her fate and the terrible bird that brought her down. This story will serve as my voice in the episode, and my family and friends can tell stories about me and say things like they thought I was making up a crazy story, just being paranoid about the birds outside my window. But really, I was telling the truth, and they wish they'd listened to me, but they hadn't, and now I'm dead, so they want the world to know what really happened and who I was, so I don't just go down in history as the girl who died at the hands talents of the Pigeon King. And you know, if anyone from This American Life happens to be around, I'd be happy to record this for you. So when Terrible Demise does come, there'll be audio of me telling my story. Just let me know.